teachers and whatnot with two Broadway folk that I know. Please welcome to the stage. How many shows have you done, Polly? 9 Broadway shows. Paul Castry, and 1 million Broadway shows. Carrie Butler. Come on up, guys. Yeah, and you guys will just hear. You share this. I'll hold this. All right. So, first things first, actually, let me hold this for 1 second. So you hold this second. All right, so, Polly, tell everyone where you're from. There may be some people who are from there. Go.
I'm from Rockford, Illinois. Anyone?
So, Rockford is like a bizarre ground zero for all these Broadway folks. Tell everyone who came from your town. It's bizarre.
At my little Catholic high school, let's see, when I was a freshman, Joe Mantello, who directed Wicked and is also an Emmy-nominated actor. He was a sophomore. And Jodie Benson from Little Mermaid and Crazy for You was a junior.
And before she was Jodie Benson, she was
Jodie Maserati. And we all did Guys and Dolls my freshman year. And let's see.
Your brother dated.
And my brother dated a senior at the time, which was Mary Maisie.
Wow.
And also at my high school, who I just had breakfast with, is a guy named Bob Greenblatt, who's produced a show I did on Broadway, 9 to 5. He's also the president of NBC.
Literally like runs NBC, like created Smash. So like they all went to a Catholic school.
Which we did a lot of theater, and in our little high school, that's how I got started. And theater was doing shows there.
Yeah, actually, Joe Mantello sent me a picture of himself doing Godspell. Like, this is the clown doing a high kick. And I'm like, I'm putting it in my playbook column. He was like, oh, you effing crazy. So anyway, he would not allow me. All right, so talk for a second. So you're mainly all teachers. So talk for a second, like, what did theater teaching in your school help you with?
Well, for me, it was definitely sort of like a safe haven for anyone who maybe anyone who wasn't good at sports in my high school. You had to do something, right? My brother actually did it all. He was good at sports and he was in the shows. So how dare he, right? But it just became a great home for me, a place where I made all my friends, a place where I learned a lot, obviously, but also I was accepted and encouraged to pursue my interests in performing. But more importantly than that, really just, which I think is so important throughout your whole career, actually, and life, you're just encouraged to be myself, like whatever that is, right? So, if a kid is individual or unique, whatever his, or like his slant on the world, or his sense of humor, or his unique, sort of outlook. I mean, it's even forming when you're that young. It really is. And so, if you are in that atmosphere where teachers and also the people, it's also the other kids who are older that you're working with. They made quite a difference to me in really just becoming a person. If that's not going too far.
It's a big thing
right?
that shapes you.
It does.
And then, like, literally, did it help you professionally? Were you able to go, I learned this in high school, and therefore I was able to apply it on Broadway? Like, anything specifically you think
I would say that for my high school, there was a huge amount of discipline looking back.
And how was that exemplified?
In the sense that there were, first of all, that was also passed down from the seniors to the juniors to sophomores and freshmen. One thing I do remember is that there was absolutely no talking in the wings, to the point where on Broadway sometimes you guys, you can't be that loud. People are so loud on Broadway, and I even did that, you cannot talk. Right, we're supposed to go on there. So Paul, what do you think we should do? It was such a big deal if you talked in the wings. Everyone would glare at you, the other students, which is a good thing to learn. But it was a lot of fun, but it was also, it was taken very seriously, I guess, if that's the word. But I think a lot of high school theater programs are like that. They want you to have fun and make the friends and not necessarily go and do it for a living, but to invest in it in a real way, a serious way.
I mean, I was shocked when I got to, I remember like, when I was 16 or something, and I was playing something from a Broadway piano score, and I was like, oh, this is what they play on Broadway? I'm like, it's no different than what I'm playing right now. It was very weird for me. I think you think, oh, when I get to Broadway, it's going to be so crazy different. But it's actually very linear. I mean, like, didn't you feel when you did Broadway, like, I've kind of done this already, because you rehearse, you learn harmonies, like, it's not that different.
Yeah, actually, a lot of, I I did learn a lot doing, playing Will Parker in Oklahoma at my high school, or doing Godspell, or playing Charlie Brown. But you don't know what exactly it is you're learning.
I know
You don't know it at the time, and then suddenly, later you're doing things and you're on stage. I think a big thing is just knowing how to take stage, which is something that I don't know if you can explain that. I mean, or have a charisma on stage. I mean, Carrie is like a perfect example of that. Someone that you are just drawn to and you watch because they're comfortable just owning it. I don't know how to describe that, but that's a big thing with me. I feel like sometimes there's a lot of super talented people, but sometimes my eyes just go somewhere else. I don't know what that is, but but of course we didn't have any mics. There were no mics back then. I'm older than I look. So there were no mics, so you had to project, and you had to, I think that was part of, I think was helping you get everyone's attention. You had to just get it, right?
With your loud ass voice.
I guess so.
All right,
Yeah.
let me pass over to Kara. So Kara, you also went to a Catholic school, right?
I did.
And alongside Patty the Pone, Betty Butler, just kidding. Okay. Totally not at all. Is anyone from your school there? No. Although, but Carrie, unlike Paul, and we'll talk about that, was a very big deal for Paul to move to New York and sort of like an impossibility because in the Midwest, you were in Brooklyn, so it wasn't shocking, particularly you getting into Broadway. Did you always kind of think you were going to do it?
My mom took me to do commercials when I was 4, and then she stopped when I was like 5. She wanted me to have a normal childhood.
That lasted for a year. Because weren't you like auditioning?
Then I saw Annie at 9, and then I was like, I have to do this, and my mom let me start again. And then Seth and I did Young Stars together as kids. He's older than me, but he was the prodigy who could sing and play the piano at the same time. And we would perform.
I'm not much older, let's go back to that. Keep going. This is crazy about that.
And we would perform in this nightclub for kids. They would have birthday parties there, and we'd get paid in ice cream sundaes.
It was amazing, because it was all these kids from Broadway, or just talented kids. So it was like us.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, like everyone that was in Annie, everyone that was in Evita, Peter Pan, and it was this weird confluence of both. It was called Young Stars. And it was on the Upper East Side. Martin Charnan's daughter, Sasha Charnan, who, by the way, devastating story, also wanted to be in Annie, like Carrie Butler. Her father wrote and directed the show. She auditioned, got called back, and he's like, not casting you. Can you believe and by the way, she was amazing.
She was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's one of the best kids there.
Yeah, not the nicest guy. Okay, so, what did I want to say? Just back to the Annie audition. Oh, hi, hey, Marty. Talk for 1 second, just about, because Carrie's really happily married to the coolest guy who works in Sesame Street, but just talk about the very romantic comedy, how you guys, not really, but how you met cute, but not really knowing that you met cute in terms of your Annie audition.
Oh, okay. So I auditioned for Annie, not the first. Oh, yeah. So the first one is, so I auditioned for Annie, and I got all these callbacks, and my teacher, or the principal of the school, got on the PA and was like, everyone, please pray for Carrie Butler. Her final callback for Annie today. So this is my husband's first recollection of me, because he was older than me too. And he's like, I'm not praying for that. That's so stupid. I didn't get it.
Basically. But then his meanness extended even further. Let's talk about your Annie movie audition.
Oh yeah. So then I was up for Annie the movie. And one day I came home from school, and I'm like 9 years old.
You've been called back a couple times, right?
Well, for the movie, I don't think maybe I called back once. But, there were like a gazillion orphans in the movie, so it was different than the play. So one day I came home from school, and there's a message on my answering machine. We hit it, and I'm like, yes, you've been cast as one of the orphans in the Annie movie. So me and my family are screaming, jumping up and down, and then there was a next message, and it said, please disregard that last message. You dialed the wrong number.
They're gonna seem fake?
Yep.
Not since Mark Jordan's daughter.
They should have put you in anyway.
They should have just kept. I know!
I was just gonna be one of those like random orphans in there.
We don't even want you for that. Okay, so that was traumatic. Okay, so talk about, so now, I don't know, did your school do musicals when you were growing up?
My high school did, yeah. But it was not like a big deal at all. And I did the boys Catholic boys school plays.
You had to trade off?
I did that, and I did a few at my high school too.
So what did you learn from your teachers in school? Just FYI, for me, a lot of it was like learning how to read music and how to sight read and stuff, which completely has applied to being on Broadway. Like, what did you learn that you've been able to apply to Broadway?
Yeah, I think things like that, like learning music, learning how to do harmonies, And just like Paul said, learning to take the stage. I mean, I wish that my theater department was actually better, and like I wish that they went to something like this. Although for my school, the people who do the plays, they love theater, and they still come to see me in all my shows, and they are very knowledgeable. Like we do community theater together and stuff like that. But it wasn't like it wasn't like we never had classes in theater or anything like that, you know. And I just think theater classes can help everybody, which I didn't realize growing up since I didn't have it. But like now I volunteer, and all these inner city kids, like who most likely are never going to go on to a career in theater. But like if you find that if they're like a really dark kid and they don't know how to read, and you find that one thing that sparks their interest, like Samuel Beckett or something like that, and then they'll read that and get into that, then it's like that can help them learn to read and go on to do so many other things in their life.
And I think it's also like Paul said, you know, because there's such freedom in theater, it allows people to find out who they actually are, that you don't find in a math class. You don't find out who your personality is taking math. But when you do an improv game, you can find out your personality. Okay, so let me pass it back to Polly for a second.